What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Killshot Collectors. I'm Brandon, and today we're going to be talking Mech Arena and one of my favorite mechs, which is Killshot. Now, this mech is at the top of pretty much every list that you look at around YouTube or Reddit or whatever, because it is such a versatile and deadly mech. And today, I don't want to just talk about one way or one best build. I want to talk about three. So without further ado, let's take a look at the stats of the base mech and then talk about how you can actually use that to your advantage to get some wins, get some big credits, get some tournaments, all that you're trying to do. So with that, let's jump into it. Looking straight at the base mech here, you guys can see that this is a scout mech, which means it's going to have a lower energy capacity. Just natively, you are going to need to upgrade this in order to get some of the better weapons on there. It also, unfortunately, does have a very low amount of HP. Even when upgraded, it's pretty flimsy and squishy here. But it makes up for that with a very high speed and the ability that really makes this mech so incredibly dangerous. And that is going to be that dash ability. Now, this dash ability does have a range of about 40 meters and is going to output damage somewhere between 10 and 15,000, depending on how upgraded you have this mech. Now, the thing that is going to really differentiate each of these play styles is going to be how we use that dash ability and the weapons that we fit here to take advantage of the unique opportunities that it gives us. So let's go ahead and jump into the first and probably the most popular way that this mech is played, and that is with a Brawler setup. Now, in this setup, we are going to be dashing into an opponent at the start of kind of our engagement, if you will. We're going to have our full loadout here, and we're going to unload as much DPS into that target as possible and try to kill it before we run out of ammo and they are able to really kind of turn their guns onto us. Now, for this build, you are going to want to use short-range weapons, so you're probably looking at either shotguns or the arc torrents. And in terms of pilots, you're going to be looking at those pilots that do give you the ability to boost that close combat damage. That's going to be Jester and G-Lock, and as you are leveling these pilots up and using the implants, be looking for things that will complement those play styles, so things like shotgun range or damage, or even the Killshot dash ability. There are a couple of cool implants and bonuses that those pilots can give you. Now, the big pro here, obviously, is that we can jump into the fray. We can knock out a mech very quickly by putting that high damage output onto it, hopefully taking it out of the fight and allowing us to retreat while we reload, or just while that ability recharges. The downside here is that once you dive in, you're kind of stuck, right? You're not going to be able to disengage easily, even with the high speed of this mech. If you are going to be right up on somebody, if you do not kill them, they are going to have the ability to turn their guns on you. And in most cases, if they're a bigger mech, they're going to be fielding stronger weapons, and they can probably pop you pretty quickly. Likewise, if you jump in and there's more than one, you could be in trouble here, so you have to pick your shots very carefully. One thing to be looking for as you are playing in this style is when a mech is reloading, so the guns go straight up, you should be able to use that as your cue to try to dash in and start applying that damage. If they can't hit you, especially on the way in, even if you are low health, you may still be able to finish them off and take out a much heavier mech while they are on a lengthy reload or something like that. So that's the brawling playstyle, and again, I think this is the most popular one out there right now, but it's not necessarily the best. And again, the best is going to be relative to your playstyle and to the maps that you're on. So let's look at the second one, and that is the mid-range or the assault playstyle. Now, as the name implies here in this build, we're going to be using more of the assault weapons that are in that 40 to 60 meter range. And the idea here is that rather than using the dash ability to get in close and apply a lot of damage up front, we're actually going to be using those guns to try to whittle our targets down to the point where we feel comfortable using the dash ability to go in and finish them off rather than kind of close that initial gap. The key weapons that you're probably going to want to use here are going to be things like a thermal lance or an RPG. If you have pulse cannons, if you're able to fit those because you've upgraded the mech and it's got some more energy available, those are also fantastic options. But really anything that's in that 45 to 60 meter range is going to be what you really want to use. Now, in terms of pilots here, you are going to be looking at Mako and Yeti if you're using like the thermal lance. Or you can use Samson and Nova if you're going to be using RPGs, because obviously they get the missile bonus. Now, as with the other brawl style, the benefit here is that you can use your guns, basically get a lot of DPS down, and then use that dash to apply that final DPS to get the kill. But also, kind of like the brawl style, the disadvantage here is that if you don't choose that moment well, you could get stuck reloading and be right next to or staring down the barrel of another mech's guns, or in the middle of a bunch of other mechs that you don't want to be in the middle of. Now, one of the other benefits here over the brawl style is that you do have the ability to control the range a little bit more. Because you have more speed, you can get away from people, you can get around corners, you can use cover a little bit more effectively. You're not quite as out there hanging in the wind. But again, that does come with the trade-off of losing a little bit of that up close and personal DPS. That takes us to the last of the three, and that is going to be our artillery or our sniper build. And it's a bit of a misnomer because I don't recommend using long arms on this particular build, because while Killshot is very quick and nimble and it might sound like a great idea to pop in and out, with snipers, remember, there's no aim assist, so you have to be aiming everything and timing your shots perfectly if you're going to do that. Instead, what I recommend is using the javelins. This allows you to fire indirectly, to stay behind cover while you're launching those, and also to take advantage of some of the fact that you can upgrade this as you upgrade the other mechs, or as you upgrade Killshot himself, because the energy available for the javelins is very manageable even with some of the scout mechs. Now, the benefit here again is that we are going to be using a high DPS weapon. Typically, if you are firing against another Killshot or a Lancer or something like that, you can take them out in one, even with some of the Javelin 4s, and it's really nice to be able to stay behind cover. The downside here, obviously, is that if somebody does get in close, you can be a little screwed. And the way that we have to combat that then is to use the dash ability either as a defensive attack. So if we see that somebody is low and they're getting close, we might be able to kill them with that dash ability and not use our guns at all. Or we can use the dash to get away by dashing to another piece of cover or just directly out in general. Either way, the goal here is not to get up close and brawl, obviously, but rather to use that range and to use that artillery to your benefit. Now, obviously, if you're going to be doing this with the javelins, that is guided missile damage or guided damage, whatever they call it, and the two pilots in particular that you are going to want to look at right now are going to be Crow and Rosa. So guys, that's it for today. Let me know what you thought about this. This is, like I said, one of my favorite mechs, and so you are very likely to see me running around with Killshot in all sorts of configurations. I think there's a lot of versatility and tactical options that this mech gives you, and I think, again, that's one of the reasons why it's such a popular mech and it's on the top of so many people's lists. Let me know down in the comments below how you guys like to play this mech. Let me know if I missed anything or if there's any other loadouts that you guys really like. I'd love to see and try myself. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this, be sure to hit subscribe with the notification bell so that you get notified when I launch the next video here. And if you want to come join me in the stream, I'm probably going to be doing that in the next week or so here and trying to make it more of a weekly thing. So be sure to hit the notification bell as well so that you know when I go live and you can jump into some matches with me. But that's it, guys. Thanks so much for joining. I really appreciate your time today. Go out there, have some fun, win some tournaments, get some kills, and enjoy Killshot. Have a good one, y'all. See ya.